another podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Thursday, May 14th. I checked my phone. It's May 14th. Hope you're all doing well. I have a podcast for you today, and I feel like it's pretty applicable to what's going on now. I want to tell you about a time where I had the greatest, most rapid spiritual development I've had basically in my life thus far. And that was when I went to college at Colorado Christian University, CCU. And there, it wasn't like I heard things that were new. It wasn't like the teachings were different. They were pretty much the same as what I grew up with. But there was a huge, ridiculous difference. It was the community around me. Now, I was in an apartment complex. We thankfully had full apartments as freshmen and 4-day school weeks, and the mountains are 30 minutes away. So you do the math there. Where should you go to college? CCU. But it was the time of the greatest community I've ever experienced when it comes to like daily living. So I lived with a whole bunch of people who loved the Lord, and we hung out together. And we did things together. We had meals together. We had experiences together. We hiked a 14er together, which is a mountain of 14,000 feet. We had fun times and hard times, and we laughed and we cried together. And I was wondering, and I was thinking to myself, was that a coincidence? Was this idea of me having a great spiritual growth explosion just a coincidence with the environment and the community that I had? And I've been thinking about that. And when I think of community, when it comes to, at least in the Bible, there's one spot in Acts 2 that I think about every single time. I'm going to read it for you. So Acts 2, starting in verse 42. And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And awe came upon every soul. Many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all, as any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. When I think of community, I think of that. I think of people going out together, being together constantly, eating together, spending time together, praying together, talking together, learning together. And that's the type of community that I think we all desire. They did life together. And when I was in college, we did life together to the point where a couple of us call each other and we still say, yeah, we still can't find the tightness of the community that we had when we were in college. And we need to do this as well. And I bring this up for a really big reason, because you can ask the question, what does that look like now? Because I don't know if you haven't been awake for the last month or so. We're kind of socially isolated from each other. So what does this look like for us? And this can be anything from just checking in. It can be texting each other. Did you know that these things here, these things called phones, look, it's my kids. These things called phones, they actually call each other and you can hear their voice. I know, crazy. You can call each other. You can FaceTime each other, you can play video games together, you can do all these things, send a letter. You can have police car lunches if you can drive, which is when you get a lunch for both, like each person gets a lunch, and then you sit like this, like the cars are like that. We've seen policemen do this. You can do things together that really help you out. And when we do things together, it's actually important. We are not made to have a Christian faith alone. I mean, if you just look at the Trinity, they are in perfect community together. When you look at how Jesus operated on earth, he made a community of people. They were together constantly. And so we here are designing things for you all. All of our events right now are for community. All of them. Small groups, rather than just like hanging out one big group, but small groups so you get to know people. Events that you can come together and do an activity. You can, like today, we're doing the house party event, which is just an app. It's an app on the phone, but you play games together. You do things together. And during this hard time, we have a tendency to lean out. So we talk about like, I don't want to do Zooms anymore. Totally understandable. I understand that Zooms are not the most fun thing. But this is the time to lean into community. If you think of stepping out of community, then that is you purposely like making relationships weaken. This is the time to lean in. People are having a hard time now. People are lonely now, and you can be the person to reach out to them to figure out how they're doing. And you may not want to Zoom. I understand that. But this is the time to lean in. I guarantee you will feel better talking to people, even over Zoom, than not talking to people at all. We were built for community. We were built to be together. We were built to thrive in with other people. Like if you look at Acts again, and day by day, attending the temple together, not alone, together. They went together to do these things, and they received their food. They praised God, and they had favor with all people. And because of that, the Lord added to their number. See, we can be a community where people look at that and they say, I want that. Even in this hard time, I want that. I want what they have. What do they have? How do they do this? How are they still so joyful about things? And we were built for community. We were built for Christian community, God's community. So even during this hard time, even during this time of isolation and other things like that, lean in to your community. And come to the house party event tonight. It'll be fun. It'll be the first time that we tried it, but there's 4 different games. The drawing game, that's the game I want. So I hope you're all doing well. Let us know at hashtag Lakeland Youth Group. Any thoughts that you have or the comments below. If you have an idea for something that you want to hear me talk about, podcast stuff, let me know there too. I take those into account. We're going to be on community for a little bit and a couple of podcasts over the next couple weeks. So if you have an idea, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing well, and we'll see you next time.